Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Movie Club UK, and this is our 2025 last episode, or should I say 2026 first episode.
Yeah,
we had a little situation. Today we're reviewing Avatar Fire and Ash. You guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good. As Mizia said, we had a little situation, so hypothetically, technically, this did actually happen.
In 2025.
We have tried to film this already.
Some technicalities.
Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, so we're filming it again.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Because we had a whole conversation where we've spoken about 50 minutes in depth of this film and how we felt of the film, and we were nearly done until obviously the technical difficulties came. How do you guys feel about obviously reanalyzing the film again? Should you guys go away and get more information, or did you have new insights after our first recording? How do you lot feel about it?
I guess in the moment, I was therefore like, oh my God, like this is a bit annoying. Like, am I going to remember all the things I was talking about because I like the authenticness of when we're speaking? Because we have this big thing where we don't like to speak to each other.
Yeah, that's our rule. That's our main rule.
Podcast, so that when we come to the podcast, we have so much things to talk about. But I guess after I settled and everything, I was like, you know what? Let me do a little bit more research. And I was seeing a couple more things that I wasn't seeing prior to the previous podcast that we did, didn't it? So I was thinking, you know what? Maybe it's not too bad after all.
Yeah. One thing I would say is that this film might deserve two conversations. There's many things that did come up with this film. By now, I think it's its third week it's been out, and it seems to be doing quite well. I'm sure Ash will give us the numbers a bit later. But definitely it's a film that can spark more than one conversation. But I'm going to start with this one by asking, like I did in the last episode, in 3 words, how would you describe this film, Avatar Fire and Ash?
I remember I said 2 words.
Okay.
It was emotionally intense for me. That's what it was. And I only say that because I was looking at it from the death of the brother who died in The Way of the Water, I believe. Neteyam. So I could see the lingerance of his death on the father, the mother, the kids as well, and especially Spider. You could see that it was definitely like altering some of their decision makings, how they were feeling in certain situations. Obviously, we'll get onto that later on, but you know, Neteri and you know the pink people and all that stuff there. But there were therefore moments where I felt very much connected. Like not like I'm gonna cry or anything, but I was like, oh my days, that's so mad that happened.
Ash?
But yeah.
It's hard to do it in 3 words. I'll say 2 words, too repetitive, and I'll explain myself. It was too much like Way of the Water. It was basically exactly the same as Way of the Water. I don't wanna overdo it, but similar themes, similar plot points. This film is focused a lot more on Spider, but it was a whole cycle of Spider and other characters getting captured, released. Then there's an attack, and then someone gets captured again, and then someone gets held hostage. It's all a bit of the same.
I think
thing.
I'm along the same line. So I said 3 words, but my 2 words would just be same old. Yeah, and that's in no way saying that this is a bad film. What we're going to discuss, it's not going to be negative entirely, but I did feel same old. That's what I would say.
My question to both of you is, where did you feel like it was repetitive? Like, what moments do you feel like it was repetitive? They could have maybe changed it, altered the scene a little bit, maybe. And if you want to add in like what you think like should have been done in that scene instead, then by all means.
So first, before we get into that, I would say this is the first sequel that we are actually reviewing on our podcast. We reviewed Avatar: The Way of the Water. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that out. We reviewed it at some point last year or the year before that. I know the film came out in 2022, and I think we reviewed it just early 2023. So we're going on 2 years since that film, and it's the first sequel we've actually done. So hopefully it can give us a better insight because we've watched it before and we've reviewed it before collectively. So let's see what we can actually come up with this time. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, Instagram,
X,
still Twitter. Yeah, make sure we're on our way to 400 subscribers, so make sure to keep sharing, promoting it to people who do care about movies and films. We'd love to reach 400 probably the first quarter this year.
Hopefully. And I think we've already gotten to spoilers, so yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah. But before we actually get any further, I would also read out the synopsis like I normally do, and then we'll just, get straight at it and answer some of the questions that Fahir's literally posed to myself and Ash. So, film synopsis. Jake, Neytiri and their family... Sorry, I keep on forgetting it. It says, follow Jake, Neytiri and their family as they deal with the grief from Natayam's death, encountering a new aggressive fire-worshipping Navi clan. The Ash people, led by ruthless Varang, escalating conflict, introducing a darker Navi perspective, forcing uneasy alliances, and exploring themes of grief, survival, and changing moral landscape of Pandora as humanity's siege deepens. So, to answer your question, you said, why do we think it's the same? Or
because obviously both of you said that it was quite repetitive.
Yeah.
And I said I wanted to kind of know that were there any particular moments when you was watching it was like, oh, I've seen this before, like it feels like a copy and paste kind of thing.
I think,
or was too similar to the last film.
The storyline wasn't vast. So when I say same old, the imagery of what we're seeing, the VFX, all that kind of stuff, the effects, it's brilliant. It's amazing. Yeah. The Avatar series probably is visually the best sort of. It's not. I can't call it a trilogy because there's going to be a franchise. Yeah, it's the best franchise.
Yeah, it's good.
It has in terms of what we're seeing visually, but when you get past that after 30 minutes or an hour, you begin to be like, okay, so where are we going here? And I think the film starts off where it is Loak that is narrating the film. Yeah. So in the previous two films is Jake Sully that's narrating the film. This film is Loak that's narrating it. And I think it's given to Loak because it's almost like the movie starts off as a redemption arc from him. Because as you know from the last film, he's a big reason to why Natayam is dead. It might not necessarily be his fault, but he believes that his parents defo think it's his fault, especially Jake. And you can see the way like Jake treats him is almost like...
I just want to say quickly, there was even a scene where you remember earlier at the start when I think he didn't have his comms on his neck one time.
Yes.
And then obviously he went to his dad. I think his dad gave him a gun or something like that. And his dad said to him, "Oh, you don't even have your comms on. How can I trust you?" And then when they even got into it later on, he was like, "Oh, if you only had your brother would probably still be here." Yeah, crazy.
Because I think a lot of it is to do with his ability to kind of take instructions and be a hero. So it's like he wants to grow up before his time, but him trying to grow up before his time causes so many accidents and mistakes, and obviously the fatal accident being his brother's death. So he's the one that narrates the story, and it starts off as Loak's redemption arc. But like what we discussed last time, somewhere down the line, this turned into a spider story.
Bless you.
Thank you, sorry.
Yeah.
How did this become a spider story?
Yeah, going off of what you guys said about Loak as well, is just that we said in the last review that we think the next film is going to be a Loak type film. Yeah. But it's kind of followed the exact same thing as Way of the Water. He's an outsider. He doesn't really connect with his family as much. He doesn't really connect with his dad.
You're talking to that dumb well.
So, yeah.
His brother.
I thought this film was going to centre around Loak, and yeah, it centred around Spider. I'm personally not happy with that decision. Spider, I don't think he's a compelling enough character to lead this franchise, I guess, going on. If you know how I feel about this franchise, you'll know that, and I've been on about it all week, but this franchise, it is about colonialism, it is about genocide, it is about these Na'vi people. Yeah. And how
does a pink skin...
Yeah, slur, bleep that. How their planet is basically being taken over by the humans, and Spider is a human, and yes, he is maybe one of the good humans, but I feel like it's the wrong way to go to get one of the humans to lead this franchise, knowing that the actual oppressed people, they have a story to tell, basically. So yeah, I'm not too happy with it.
So James Cameron promised that in every Avatar film in the franchise, obviously there's going to be a fourth one, because this seems to, we'll discuss it, seems to be some sort of a success, so there will definitely be a fourth one. But he said in every Avatar film, we're going to get something different, right? And Avatar, the first one, we're introduced to Pandora. It was a very nice, like, sort of perspective of another world, like outside Earth, right? It was brilliant. Then the second one, Avatar: The Way of the Water, we were then introduced to how the Navi people is almost like a water sort of tribe. So we see Natiri's tribe. I don't know if they're land or forest people. Forest people? Yeah, you would say. They connect to the things that they ride on with, you know, their tail and all that kind of stuff. And the water people connect to like the sea creatures with their tail. So it's like there's a deep sort of Navi people, but they all have a different way of living their lives. And Avatar: The Way of the Water kind of showed us that, okay, even though we're in Pandora, there's different tribes in Pandora that do things differently. And it was just like, wow, this actually like represents or copies or mirrors what's on Earth. Like,
and he tried, and you saw how they even had struggles at the beginning, like trying to mesh with each other.
Yeah, trying to mesh, and that's real life issues. Just like I'm from Nigeria, there's so many tribes in Nigeria. You'd think Nigeria is just one land, and there's some people that I wouldn't say they're ignorant, but they just think, you know, you're all the same or you all speak the same language. But when you actually get there, you realize, wow, different tribes are actually different. And probably I digress a bit, but a lot of Nigeria's problem comes from people just being different and them just obviously Britain just kind of like drawing a ring fence and saying, yeah, do you know what? All these tribes, we're just going to call you Nigeria. You lot get on and, you know, have it your way. That's never going to work. And we kind of see that in Pandora where there's different tribes. Obviously, Jake's family tried to adapt to the Makaina clan, but it becomes very difficult for them even though they try.
Yeah.
In the third film, James Cameron says we're going to see something different. With the title Fire and Ash, what are you expecting?
I was expecting to have the same amount of time, the same amount of depth, I guess, that we got from the water people. I was expecting to see that with the ash people, and they're not the nicest tribe. They clearly are, they're into chaos, fire and ash. Yeah. So I didn't know how to feel about them, but I still expected to get as much depth from them as we did with the water people, and I felt like they were kind of cut out of the film. They were the main antagonists of the film. That's what I thought was going to happen. Then we just introduced the humans
back to the humans
once again, and we met Varang, who was set out to be an amazing antagonist, and then, you know, 20 minutes in, she's in a relationship with Quaritch, and it's like he kind of she takes she's almost second fiddle now. Exactly. So I think it was a big letdown for what could have been a really exciting new tribe to push the direction. I thought by the title, I genuinely thought we were going in that direction. How we spent so much time with the Makaina clan in Way of the Water, I thought we were going to get to spend as much time with the Fire and Ash people, the Ash people, as we call them. I can't actually pronounce the tribe name. Manquang. I don't know. Like, guys, do a little pronunciation thing in the comment.
Manquang Clang, I think.
Yeah. We do have a bit of a backstory of them, is that they live in the volcanoes.
Volcano tribe,
they actually hate or
Awa,
despise Awa, who's essentially our religion in the whole of the
I think they believe that when they had their natural disaster or whatever happened in the forest, they believe that Awa didn't help them and Awa turned her back against them. So it's almost like they've rebelled against Awa, where they kind of know, well, she's real or could be real, but she didn't help us, so we're not interested, or we're not clearly chosen. They have an agenda against Awa. And what was so funny is in one of the scenes, there's like a key line from Varang to Kiri, where she says to Kiri, "Your God has no dominion here." That sent shivers down my spine, because I think Kiri was trying to explain to why Spider's able to like breathe on Pandora, and Varang's like, how was this so? And I think Kiri says, it was the will of Awa. And she looks at her, "Your God has no dominion here, because if I want to kill him right now, I could kill him." That's basically, is she going to save him? And
that's I hear
and Kiri was like, no. It's crazy. You know, and I think what I want to see specifically was the volcanoes, how they're able to adapt to that sort of terrain.
They fluffed it, man. James Cameron fluffed it. I'll be honest with you, like, I want to echo what Ash was saying, like, with all that time they spent showing like the water people and seeing how the frost people adapt to the water people, and even just seeing like how they live, how they maneuver, it's like they really could have done so much with this, with the fire and ash, man. Like, when they showed us there where they are, I was thinking, this looks a bit mad. But it annoyed me because it was like, why is it only the Colonel that's going there? Why isn't anyone else going there from why isn't Jake Sully going there? Why isn't Natiri going there? Do you know what I mean? Like, why isn't there a battle on their surface? Because fair enough. Like we know if they fire on the water, we know how that's gonna go. I want to see how these are on a different kind of surface where it's like everything's against you.
But that's why I said same old, because even the main like battle scenes or where things were actually going down, it was still happening on the water, and I'm like, we're not in the way of water. We're not in that film anymore. So why are we still battling on the water?
It's true, but also I don't know. I think one of you said this in the last one. Wasn't this film meant to be like one whole film, but they split into two?
You actually say
so that's why I remember. That's why it kind of feels a little bit
so
similar.
say Way of the Water Part 2.
That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done. Yeah, because really, this Fire and Ash, we barely got a glimpse of them.
Yeah.
This does feel like a continuation from Way of the Water, and like this does happen in movies. Sometimes the script is too long. James Cameron clearly cut it in half. But
he loves a long film.
So
James Cameron.
you need to distinguish. You need to either say Way of Water Part 2, or you need to distinguish Fire and Ash completely different to Way of the Water. Because
if it was titled Way of the Water Part 2, probably my end perspective on it would be different.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wouldn't feel like I'm missing what I thought I would get. Yeah. But I think the trailer almost kind of deceived us to thinking we're going to get an entire world of Fire and Ash, and we're going to be indoctrinated in this Mankan clan, and we're going to say these lot versus the Mekaina. Like, I thought by the end of the series, obviously, have you heard about the other Avatar?
Yeah.
The fire, air. I thought by that point, when we get to the end of this franchise, we're going to have different people saying, I identify as Man Kwang, I identify with Mekaina. And I thought that's what we were going to get, but they didn't show me enough for me to want to identify with Fire and Ash at all.
Yeah.
They didn't. They even seemed a bit more interesting, their way of life, and them turning away from Awa. It seemed a bit more interesting, but why didn't we go fully in to understand what exactly this is about? It didn't happen. We get introduced to them in the scene where Jake and his family are trying to take refuge in the what are they called again?
The Wind Traders.
The traders,
with the Wind Traders. And I think Varang and her people don't know anything about Jake Sully being on board. They don't know anything about that. They just target the Wind Traders because the Wind Traders seem to be, when you're neutral. So we
pacifists,
know, pacifists. So you know that the Sky people, the humans, are trying to come to Pandora and take over. You know that this is happening. Why are you trading goods with them?
With them, yeah.
Why are you not taking a stance and saying, let me fight for my land? If someone was to do that here, you would call it treason.
Yeah.
You'd call it treason. Like, how can you not want to protect? You're only in it for your game, which is money. But you're not saying, let's starve the humans. Because I think they're on like a sort of, the humans have like a camp that's on Pandora. It's like on the edge of Pandora where they still have to have masks and all that kind of stuff. They're not fully into Pandora, but they're on the outskirts. You'd think we can't let their siege get any stronger. We got to do what we can to kind of like suppress them. Yeah. But instead the Wind Traders are trading with them. So the fire people see them as the enemy. Because you're neutral by default, you're the enemy. So they decide to attack them. And whilst attacking them, Jake and his family are on I don't know what you'd call them. On board. It's not a plane, but it's like a hot air balloon, basically. And they basically have a fight to where everything crashes, and that's when Varang actually encounters the family. She encounters Spider, and I think she's just intrigued by that fight, seeing the bullets, seeing people dying. It's like let's
make thunder. Show me how to make thunder.
Yeah. She's like, show me how to make. And I think she's really intrigued. I think her character buys into Quaritch, the humans, and not just because of the ability to make thunder. She seems like a very destructive person.
She gives me devil vibes, man.
Yes, a destructive person and a destructive soul. So I think she sees that and she's like, I want a bit of that. And she's willing to do anything she can to kind of get a piece of that. Yeah. So that's what I see. Also, we discussed in the last podcast before it got deleted that there's links in this film to a bit of like Christianity. We did say that as well in terms of Awa and Kiri. So Kiri, she was some sort of immaculate conception where her mum was Grace, but she wasn't in the womb. Something to do with Awa came with Grace, and they created Kiri.
Impregnated by the land, the earth.
Yeah, and now she's this super being. And I mentioned the point where I don't think she knows the extent of her power or what she can control. She did see a little sign where she saw these little like flower things come, and when Spider was struggling to breathe as they were running from Varang, she basically just said, just stop, wait. And she said to, I think it was the brother, Loak and Tuk, she said, just do as I say. That reminded me of a few scriptures in the Bible where Jesus said, just do what I say. So it's like, okay, so what's going on here? That sort of thing. And there seems to be this connection where it's like, okay, you're calling Kira Awa's baby. Like, and every time she's trying to connect with Awa, there seems to be some sort of like...
It was pushing her away or something like that.
Yeah, but not necessarily Awa, but there's forces that's pushing her to get into Awa. So there was loads of links in that film. There was a link as well where Jake has to kill Spider.
Yeah, is it Abraham?
Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah.
But that annoyed me because I've said, at the end of the day, Neytiri looks at Spider as the foreigner, as the alien, as that he's not part of us. She's pretty consistent with that from
very consistent,
part 2 to this film. And Jake is like, no, this is kind of like my adopted son. We're taking him in. He's part of us. And during the film, Spider actually saves Jake.
Yeah.
So why is it when he saves him, is that when he's thinking, yeah, I can't lie, man, you're all right, Neytiri, man?
The switch places, like, bro, because he saw that he was going to get finished. He said because of Spider, he could get finished.
But if Spider didn't save him, he would have been finished anyway.
That's what I'm saying, but it's like...
So
I feel
he
like
should be even more indebted to him.
It's true,
I don't think so.
But for him, he's probably thinking like,
what do you think?
If we keep Spider alive, then they're just going to keep coming for him. They're going to keep coming. Do you know what I mean? Pause. That sounds crazy. Sorry.
I think it's a massive decision to make to kill someone who you consider a son, but that's the extent you have to go to actually save it.
But he just saved him, Ash.
I'm about to die.
I was thinking, what's going on?
Drink some water, I'll let you die in peace. But he saved him.
Yeah, I know, he saved him. And that's why for me it was like, I said, you can't kill him, bro. You can't kill him. It wouldn't make sense if you killed him.
Remember when they were at the start, when he's dying, Spider's like, his mask is running out. Did you see Neytiri when she's just like...
She was looking at him like...
Everybody's saying, where's his mask?
But that's the thing, Neytiri, once Neytiri see that Spider saved her husband, I think that's where she's had the change. But for me, it's like, why does he have to save your husband for you to now look at him like, okay, he's one of us? The kids were telling you from the beginning, he's basically like family. But you were just too stuck up in your ways, and obviously the pink people. And
obviously the big factor is Spider being able to breathe on Pandora. I think that does change the landscape a little bit.
I feel like he changed it. That's why, that's why he's therefore a big focus in this film. Because if they get him, bro, like the humans are gonna actually run right.
The humans can, but then I'm now thinking, like, what's an actual miracle? Because what happened to him was a miracle. Mm-hmm. Can science? Can science? Like, go above what was a miracle from Awa? Can it?
I think they're pissed at, actually. Sorry, I think they actually might have messed up because I'm just thinking when Neytiri done that to him, he got that tail at the back of his head,
yes,
right? And his body was filled with it was basically like webs.
Webs.
I don't know the exact word. If you know in the comments, let me know. But I don't know if when they see that, when they're analysing it, are they ready to have that in every single human? Because like once you have that and you're in Pandora, can you then leave Pandora and still have that? And you're calm on human.
I think they want to come to Pandora and they'll do exactly anything it takes. Because I think Earth is dying, it's doomed. At some point they have to leave Earth. Like Pandora, they looked at it as, right, this is a suitable home to live. Not trying to go back to Earth because they know Earth is on its way. We've ruined the planet as we do. As we do. So they're looking for another planet. So if that's what it took for them to grow things out of their head.
They'll have to do it. I don't think it matters. When your planet's dying, you have to find a way to adapt to Earth.
And survive. That's what we do as humans.
As a whole, because we've touched on Kiri, we've touched on Spider. As a whole, like having Kiri be... Spider's not native to Earth. Kiri, technically, she's Sigourney Weaver. She's Grace's baby from the first film. She's technically not native to this planet as much as Neytiri, for example. To have two characters who aren't native to Pandora lead the franchise and be the heroes in the end, for me, just feels really weird, in my opinion. And to not even lead the franchise, to have the most connection to Awa compared to... Kiri has more of a connection to Awa than any of the Na'vi on the planet. And Kiri is fine. She was born there. That's fine. I think it's the fact that she's played by Sigourney Weaver. I have said that Kiri's uncomfortable. Kiri's character makes me a bit uncomfortable. She's like a 14, 15-year-old girl with the voice of Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, James Cameron, like, we need to chat to you about that.
We need to talk about the casting in general. Been off about this before. I'll go off about it again. If you look at the cast, I watch a whole cast interview on Farango channel. They're a really good channel. The cast... Avatar and the Na'vi are influenced by indigenous, African, Asian cultures.
I can't remember what was it. Sudanese people that they were saying that they kind of
possibly,
like
but
some
I'd
of the
say
names.
just indigenous, African people, Asian people in general. Just the language, the hair, the way that they look, the way that they operate, community, the
some
idea
of the clothes,
community,
the clothes
and
accessories,
stuff. So to have a cast where there's not many, if any, unless if you count Zoe Saldana, which I don't think she counted herself, but that's a separate discussion, that don't represent the Na'vi and that group of people and what that group of people are influenced by is a bit problematic. And I think we mentioned that Zoe Saldana done an interview saying that basically she thinks Neytiri is a racist.
And we disagree.
That's mad because you can't have someone who's oppressed be a racist in that situation. Like, that don't make no sense.
It's the oppressed people, but it's also like her not liking Spider. Spider's dad literally is the main front runner of the decimation.
He's like Hitler.
Yeah.
Her killed her dad, killed her sister. Now her son's dead because of the humans. It's not insane for her to hate the people that are basically destroying her land and her people.
Especially the guy's son.
Yeah,
yeah.
Come on, man.
Like, once again, we're talking about colonialism, genocide, and you've got casting decisions like Zoe Saldana, someone who's been playing the character for over 10 years now, that does not understand her character, does not understand the background of her character. And I think I wrote that basically her hatred isn't racist. It's not just personal, it's historical, generational, and deeply tied to loss.
It's deeply tied to loss, and it's not just against, obviously we know it's not just against spiders, it's mostly against like the sky people, pink people, whatever we want to call them, but from the point of, remember when she gets shot by Varang and she seeks refuge, the humans are trying to obviously operate on her and like put the masks on her, and when she actually regains consciousness and she realizes she's tied up to all these tubes, she's like, what is, like, get this off me, I don't know what you lot are trying to do. Like, we have to remember that that's not their way of life. So it's not you're different, I hate you, it's I don't know what are you guys doing. That's what it is about. It's what are you guys doing, and the evidence of what they're showing they're doing is not good for her people. So of course these feelings are going to be there. It's not racism. Racism is when people are actually systematically oppressed for the color of their skin. How are the humans systematically oppressed?
It's not even racist.
It's the other way around.
Like, that was very poor from Zoe. I'm not even going to lie, because is she black?
She's Afro-Latina, but her history, I won't go into it, but her history is quite problematic in some of the choices she's made.
I'm not sure.
I'm not trying to get into that, but I know she's definitely one of those.
But that statement was such a letdown to see that. Like, you don't really understand that, and you would assume out of everyone in the cast that she, obviously, like I said, you've been playing Neytiri for 10 years plus. This is something before you would have said, you would have actually studied it to make sure what you're saying is correct. Like, Avatar is a big film that carries a lot of weight, and when you're going around saying things like that, you make people have certain opinions about what racism actually is. So that was a bit of a letdown from her. But in terms of her character, though, she was probably one of my favorites.
Every film, she's outstanding.
She's amazing.
I loved it. Her character development was really good.
She's amazing, and she's about to be the highest grossing actor ever.
It's actually so mad when I heard that.
Yeah, she's actually, I think right now it's what's her name?
Is Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah, and I think Samuel L. Jackson's up there as well. But these are mainly, the Marvel films and all that kind of stuff that's kind of boosting that. But she's in Marvel and she's in Avatar, so she's.
And guess what?
She's winning.
She's in DC now too.
She's in DC. What?
Scarlett
As what? Not Scarlett. I'm talking about.
I thought about
Zoe. Yeah, I'm talking about Zoe. But yeah, she'll probably now, like you said, Scarlett Johansson. If she's in DC, she'll probably go on top of again. But it's nice to see that in present times there's, you know, films that are still like breaking numbers and, you know, doing.
It's not just Marvel.
No,
Got a bit of variety.
Yeah, it has to be, which is good. Another actor that, you know, doesn't disappoint is Stephen Lang as Miles Quaritch.
I'm kind of just once again with Way of Water and with the first film, I'm just sick of him dying at the end of the film and coming back.
But did he die?
He's not dead.
He's not dead. He just keeps coming. But that to me is boring. We need new antagonists.
I don't mean to be that guy, but I think I saw a report that they confirmed that he's coming back.
Of course he's.
So like, it's
he's
coming back.
For the
he can't die because
film.
Bear in mind is his memories, so they can always get his memories and just put it in another body. Like,
it's true.
Do you know what I mean? So
I think that's weak.
It is weak.
It is very weak.
Even the guys that you know, when they were hunting the whales, there was a guy that was, I can't remember his name, but he was in the second film as well. He was the main antagonist for like killing the whales, and somehow we thought he was dead, but he's alive in the third film, and he has the robot hand this time. I'm just like, him again.
Yeah, when I saw him, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, man,
this is recycled.
This is enough, man. You couldn't get anyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
they're still killing the whales. Going back to the main point of this being the same as Way of Water, they're still killing the whales, and that's still a storyline. And I thought we'd already gotten over that. I thought the whales and the whole of sea life in general had fought back against the humans, but I guess in this.
I think just to go back to Stephen Lang, I do feel like he did bring some humor to it.
Yeah.
I did think he did bring some humor.
He
had a few like one-liners where it's just like, that
it was Ash. It was like when him and Jake were fighting, and then it was like when they both had to come together for Spider. It was just like
they
looked at each other. It was like, this is the only reason why they're not going to kill each other, because of Spider. Because they both feel like a father figure to this guy.
They seem like two divorced parents.
Yeah,
that only care about the.
And you know, I actually like that dynamic. In the beginning of that first hour of the film, I was like, you know what, Jake and Quaritch working together, and I feel like their stories kind of do parallel each other now in a very weird, twisted way, where Quaritch is now connecting much more with Pandora. Yeah. He's found his own love, like Jake did with Neytiri. He's found his own love.
And Jake is trying to like even talk to him as well, like saying, "Oh, open your eyes, like you are literally like, you're not that colonel in it, like you're different. You're in a different body."
And there's more to life here. There's more to life than the instructions and whatever you've been given. Like what Ash said, there's a big parallel between the two, because Quaritch's like hate to Jake stems from just disloyalty to the human race.
How could you?
But it looks like he's literally gonna follow suit. You know, when he walked up in the command center and he was dressed in the in Meringue's people's attire.
I was thinking this guy's not serious.
I was like, oh my days. He had a little taste of that, and
now he's lost, bro. He's lost.
Do you know? But I did think his character did give us a few good one-liners that I get it. Yes, repetitive, but it was just like, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny. He had a few funny things to say. I think Sam Worthington as well as Jake Sully.
I'm so happy Sam Worthington was the guy, because I saw a post where apparently they wanted, I think, Matt Damon. And it was someone else to kind of lead
initially. I saw Matt Damon.
Yeah, because obviously a bigger name to kind of draw guys in, because of like they wasn't sure how much money they're going to make from this. They said, "Oh, if we can bring in a high level actor, this will help bring in more numbers."
But I think Matt Damon said, he even admitted the only reason why he turned it down is because he was still shooting one of the Bourne films.
Yeah, he regrets it.
Yeah. He said he was still shooting one of the Bourne films, and he said at that particular time when James Cameron wanted him to come, it's like they needed to do like the final cut scenes and all. Like he just couldn't miss it. Even if he wanted to take on this film, he couldn't miss it.
Because James Cameron tried to lie as well, you know. He tried to say, "Oh no, I never wanted Matt Damon. I always wanted Sam. Was it Sam Worthington?"
Yeah.
He said that was my original one. Like, oh, that's why when he spoke to Matt Damon and another person, he said he delivery didn't wow them. That's what he said.
But Matt Damon's now Christopher Nolan's, like they're locked in like this. So he's leading the Odyssey. So I mean, it works out for him.
Yeah,
it's
true.
I just want to say quickly, do you not think this film struggled with balance in regards to when it was trying to highlight characters in this film? So, for example, we thought that it might have been a lower kind of redemption kind of thing, and then it turned into something completely different. For example,
as in it turned into maybe like a Spider story.
Yeah, it turned, like you see how Ash said earlier. Like, focus was too much on Spider. Like, there was so much on Spider, but it was like For me personally, I felt like they should have maybe looked at Loak a bit more. They should have shown us a bit more in terms of like maybe the Na'vi people going into the fight.
Yeah, because Loak disappeared for a point of the film where you're just thinking, oh, what's going on here? And like you said, we turned to Spider. I feel like that was a bit. I feel Jack Champion he's getting a lot of like bullets thrown at him, right? Like bro, literally, he's just getting a lot, and I do feel sorry for him in a way because you have to remember when he first was casted in this role, he was probably like what
15, I think.
Younger than that.
No, he was younger than that.
Younger than that. We're looking at
21 now, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're looking at maybe like 10 years ago, like being casted. You know how difficult it is to be right for a role 10 years ago, but as James Cameron wants this role to kind of progress, you're going to demand so much more from the actor that maybe he's not just best suited for.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to be fair to him in saying half of his scenes, not half, all of them were shot twice.
They were all shot twice. Once when he was 15 and then once when he was 17. When he was 15, he was shot as kind of a reference point for the rest of the actors. And he is actually interacting with like random people with like iPads in his face.
Yeah,
like
swear
he
down.
has to. That's how he has to film his scene. So
That's how
after
he was
hearing
filming his
that,
scene.
I will
didn't
give
even know that.
him
That's
so much
mental.
credit because I think he's a good character.
Yeah.
I don't think he should lead the franchise or lead any movies, but I think he's a good character. But I think it's an issue, and I don't think he's the problem being Jack Champion. I think it's James Cameron leading the franchise around this young boy. Also, it's an issue from an acting space because he was like, when he was 15, he was like 5'1", and now he's 21, he's 5'11".
Yeah.
So they actually had to CGI his face and
Yeah.
CGI
It's
him
a lot of work.
to
It's a lot of
try
work to make it
and
happen.
to try and make
I'm
him
not
look
gonna
a
lie
lot
to you.
younger.
I'll be real. They should have just left it, man. So
Do you know what I mean?
Because honestly, because if you're telling me so the first one came in 2009.
Yeah.
And then the second one
He
came
wasn't
on-
in that one.
He wasn't in that one, didn't it? So it was 2020.
Two that the other one came out, but
Yeah.
then it was I think they started recording that in 2017.
Like I think you should just let the character. Obviously, he might not be everyone's cup of tea, but in my opinion, you should always just let the character grow in the role. Winner. So if he's getting older, it's like with Marvel, for example. Like we have the young Thor, and we're seeing Thor as he's growing. Even in real time, I feel like they should have left that with Jack Champion.
But I feel like
because now, what are we gonna continue this thing where we have the CGI is high and
so I
do you know
think
what I
in the fourth film that we're expecting, so they shot some of the. They've already shot some of the start to that fourth film, and it's going to be like a cut scene where we then kind of like pan to current time. So we're going to actually see him when he's older, and all of that kind of stuff is going to stop.
Okay.
But they've already shot the earlier scenes for that movie, called it a day, and we're just going to be brought to the present day where we're going to see an older Spider, an older Loak, an older Kiri.
Okay, so
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to do something, man. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, man. They had to switch it up.
Yeah, but I just wanted more from the film. Like I said, Where the Water, we actually met a lot of characters as well. Apart from Varang in this character, which other character would we introduce? There was no other Ash person that was of significance for us to even know their
I was
name.
gonna say, no other Ash person. The only person I could really think of was that scientist that helped. Jake.
Even that was half baked, man.
That
was half baked.
He
yeah.
stepped in for 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
we thought maybe he's going to be a key figure, and then he disappeared again.
Yeah. Just quickly on Varang. She's played by Sarah Chaplin.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty interesting. She's the granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin.
That was crazy. When I
That's
found that out.
crazy. But more interesting for me, and maybe for Midya,
I thought her name's Ona Chaplin.
Una Chaplin. Why did I say Sarah?
I don't know.
Una Chaplin. Yeah.
Recognize her from Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones, she's Talisa in Game
Stark,
of Thrones. Wink, wink.
Red Wedding, everyone. Red Wedding. But he's gonna know about the Red Wedding.
I don't know about that. I don't watch Game of Thrones. Sorry.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was good though. She was good.
Yeah.
She was good. I just didn't like how her character seemed to have faded and Quaritch seemed to have taken over. When she first connected to Quaritch, she was like, "Oh, I think she said you have a strong soul or strong spirit or something like that." And I thought, yes, she's met her match, right, where they're both gonna lead. But I don't know. It was like Quaritch just took over and she just came very submissive and took a back seat. And it's like, yeah, whatever Quaritch wants to do,
It kind of makes sense though, doesn't it? Because now we're talking about Quaritch has literally given her the ammunition she needs to try and beat these water people.
I think they're gonna turn against the humans anyway.
Yeah, I think so. But I will say that's an interesting bit of historical accuracy and about colonialism that James Cameron maybe did get right. I know that back in back in the days for a lot of communities that were undergoing
Colonialism.
Yeah, that one. The people that were oppressing them, the oppressors, would bring weapons and anything to certain tribes to then kind of push them to kill off another tribe.
Yeah.
So that part of it is accurate.
Yeah, that's actually true. I didn't even think about that.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish it was a little bit different.
What did you lot feel about like the cinematography in this one? It was great in terms of how it was shot. And the guy that actually worked on the cinematography, his name is Russell Carpenter, and he actually works on the Titanic with James Cameron. And Titanic, obviously, water, boat sinking. So it looks like this guy is a bit of a water specialist.
Yeah.
And I think he was in The Way of the Water, and now he is again in this film. I think in terms of working with water, he's probably one of the best.
Yeah, sensational. I have no complaints about the cinematography. I think you probably mentioned it in The Way of Water review, but I feel like we all like the cinematography. Like it's amazing to look at, even the like different angles that they get, like Pandora, even the close-ups as well, like certain angles.
But the VFX specifically was actually controlled by James Cameron. So
is it?
Yeah, he's levels. So he's actually written it and controlled the VFX of it as well, and how he wants everything. So he's a pretty much hands-on.
It's funny you said that. I think I saw a video of when he was like,
he's involved.
He was like, and when I was watching, I said, damn, he's really involved. Like that. He was like, let's move up here, and then let's get like this shot. I can get in the Turi I can get his focus on the Turi, and then if I come here, we'll focus on. I was thinking, damn.
So he's writing the story and he's doing that. Like you have to give him his props.
That's a man that knows what he wants.
But I do have to say there were certain scenes, especially in the like second and third act, where a lot of the violence was happening. Maybe in the human naval base, and I was like, oh, wait a second, you know the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like I was like, I have seen this before. Exact like scene before. I don't know what it is, I've seen it before. That's when, and I actually searched it up, and people on Reddit are convinced, I'm a Reddit girl now, are convinced that they were actually reusing scenes from The Way of the Water. Probably these movies are expensive to film. So yeah. Just wanted to put that out there.
But that's what's jarring though, because it's the second time we're seeing the film end when it's like on the water. It's like I want to see them.
No, it ended in the fire. Was it fire where Quaritch just drops into?
Obviously, Quaritch in it, but it was like.
But I know what you're saying. The main fight was in the water.
Was in the water. Obviously, the ending was that's when obviously the ship was on fire and all that stuff there in it. But I would have just liked to have seen maybe a different ending, maybe like an ending on like the fire people side. That would have been nice. I think like,
because we also don't know what happened to Varang, but somewhere
that's what I'm saying. It would have made up. And then imagine they've gone to the fire side, and imagine they've lost, and then now the next film I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm ready.
I think if someone's seen this film for the first time, there's people that have gone to see this film and they don't have the backstory of the other two films, I think they still think this is an incredible film.
I'm not gonna lie.
And it is though.
It is a good film.
It is, but if you're following the story and you've done 1, 2 and now 3, there's not one person, there might be, but I don't think the general consensus will be like, oh, this was so great. I think Way of the Water, maybe not for Ash, but for me, I was like, this is so great. But I can't say that again for the third film, because I'm expecting more. Like, you've literally, James Cameron, gone from here to here, and I'm thinking you're going to do it again. But he's just kept it here. And for me, that's leaving me feeling like, oh, man, I want more.
I think,
no, you go.
I was just going to say, I think it's because obviously, like, you had to split. I think that's the thing that's kind of messed up a bit.
Yeah, but then like I said earlier, just call it part 2 then.
Yeah, that would have been better. I think, calling it Fire and Ash kind of just forced advertising.
Lying me, you know what I mean?
To us, man.
I will say props to James Cameron in general, because I've said that Avatar is just really not my favourite franchise. I much prefer like Dune and I don't even know what else.
The Godfather. Those kind of
I know, but I much prefer like in terms of massive worlds, different planets, Dune. I put Game of Thrones in there just because it's a completely different world where I go home and I'm like on YouTube trying to search up all the lore. Avatar's not my favourite, but whenever I go to the cinema, it is like this experience where I'm completely away from Earth for 3 hours, and it is this absolutely amazing theatrical experience, and I enjoy every single cinema trip. It's only talking to you guys and preparing for the podcast where I was like, I didn't actually enjoy that this much. I did think that when I left the cinema, but it's only really analysing it and being like, okay, I actually don't think I enjoyed this.
Like I said, when people are brought to other worlds, right, you like to kind of get characters where you kind of cling on to, or you get factions within the other worlds where you're just like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. I don't think Avatar has any of that, to be fair. And I thought it did when we got the water people, we're about to get the ash people, we don't know what's coming next. I thought that would kind of bring it, but up till now, there's just a lot of people, and maybe this is why James Cameron didn't maybe give us more characters. I don't know, but he might just thought there's a lot going on, so let me not give them too much. But at the end of the day, there's no, apart from Jake, there's no character that I think, I really like. I really,
I just feel like,
I hope all is well with Jake. That's all I think about.
I would have liked it if you definitely introduced us to a lot more like fire and ash people, because obviously with like the water people, we got introduced to a good amount of like characters.
Yeah, loads
of characters. Like,
I can't even say all their names now.
But I think there's at least 5+ characters that like were very solid within it with the water people.
And we didn't get any
the fire and ash people. Like I only know one person. That's a bit. No.
I'll also say I agree with you 100%. But even the amount of time we spent on the naval base with the humans was a lot,
I didn't like
and that actually is very boring. And that was the only time. Otherwise, I always feel like I'm transported into this new world. But that's the only time where I realized these are actors with these funny suits on in a warehouse, like pretending, and then it's all being edited in. By James Cameron, and then made into these blue people. But otherwise, I'm always reminded when we're in these human naval bases that they're actually in a factory in New Zealand. They film it in these funny suits.
Do you know what would have done it for me? I think I mentioned it the last time, but what would have been like, as if they killed Spider.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was saying, and I thought that was gonna happen when
I thought I heard it. Like I said, I heard it. Yeah, I said.
That would have changed the stakes completely.
Everything, because then it's like, what are you lot here for now?
Yeah.
You lot are just here for Jake.
No, yeah. And what are we gonna have in the next movie? Are they just gonna keep? It's gonna
be more
Spider?
the same.
So I was actually on Jake's side, where I'm like, Spider may need to go for
the story to develop.
Yeah, for the story to develop, for the Na'vi to actually protect themselves properly, and also it would show me that Jake, who isn't native to Pandora, Jake and Neytiri are very serious about this is war. We're fighting back against genocide. We're so strongly fighting back against genocide that we are willing to kill our adopted son to completely throw the humans out of their power.
I love their connection though, Jake and Neytiri though. I love their connection.
I disagree. I think Drake's a terrible husband. But yeah,
what?
You know what it is, but I feel like
no, we're not gonna just go ahead. Like, don't do that to Jake.
No, say your piece.
No. Neytiri is literally like overwhelmingly filled with grief.
Yeah.
I feel like Jake is saying, you hate your kids, you hate me because we're not thing. She's literally lost her son. She's so filled with grief. And also, yeah, she does, okay, not hate you guys, but she does.
She's not embarrassed, but I don't know, he said, are you ashamed of us?
Yeah, but it's not, I don't think it's a shameful thing. It's just that you guys are also, I'm even maybe feeling a bit of a way about myself that I've even mated with a human and created this family that are weird because they have 5 fingers, whatever, that are, and having Spider as well in the family, you guys are all kind of a part of what's going on Earth and the decimation of my people. So that combined with the grief, and Jake's like, oh, you hate me and you hate my kids.
He didn't cry.
But you know, it's hard though, because like Jake's trying to save the whole of Pandora. Think about it, and also he has to try and like emotionally keep his wife stable. That's hard, you know.
But these are people that have 2 different core beliefs. Obviously, she believes in Awa and whatnot, and Jake just believes in the only person that can save us is ourselves. So you even see at the start, they're going underwater, they're getting all the guns and all the equipment that obviously the humans had from the last battle. They need it to give them some advantage. That's even what they use to kind of deter Varang when Varang attacks them the first time. So he's like, we got to take matters into our own hands, where she's just almost like, Awa will do it. And he's just thinking, I think there was one important scene where she said to him, Jake, all I have is my faith. Don't even take that from me. Like, I've lost my kid, I've lost my dad, I've lost everything, yeah. The last thing I need is for you to kind of like, excuse my language, shit on my religion.
Yeah, bleep that out.
Yeah, that's what she said, and it kind of made me feel like, yeah, I can't lie, Jake, just leave it, man.
Yeah.
Just leave. You can do your thing as well,
Yeah.
but you don't need to talk down on her beliefs. But Jake is almost doing what Varang was doing, as in like, where's Awa? Awa didn't save our son, so Awa must not be doing anything, and he's trying to do everything himself. And his military instincts, because you have to remember he's a Marine, so his military instincts are kicking in. And the fact that they even have comms and all of that, that's Jake. That's not enough stuff Navi people do. But he said, in order to protect my family and for me to feel like they're all safe, this is the measures that I'm putting in place.
To make it a level playing field, really.
Yeah,
because really, truly, without, I know obviously like with Natira and that, but like without Jay, but they would have been cooked, man.
But I do really feel like they do connect. You might disagree, but I do feel like they do connect. And like Natiri would do anything for Jake, and Jake would do anything for Natiri. You can even see when Jake was getting taken away. Obviously, he made a deal with Quaritch that, okay, just leave everyone alone. I'll come with you, etc., etc. She couldn't. They're like, you could feel like the tension of her. She had her bow up.
Yeah.
The tension. She just wanted to like hit him, but obviously she hit just where his feet was.
Yeah, because you know, just you hear him, everyone's cooked.
Yeah, everyone's cooked, but you could see how much that took. Imagine you're talking about one life compared to hundreds or thousands or whatever, and it was still such a hard decision because that one life was her husband, and she was so close to be like, I don't even care, that sort of thing. And you can see when he was walking away, like they both locked eyes, like they didn't want to take their eyes off each other. He's thinking this is the last time I'm going to see her. She's thinking this is the last time I'm going to see him. But she's ride or die. She flew to the human base.
Oh, she's lit, man. That's why I loved it.
It.
She's so lit. She said, "One man up, I'm on
Yeah.
all of you." Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it.
And she ended up using like, was it like the missiles, or she attached that to her bow? And that's something that Drake tried to teach her at the start, that she said no. And eventually she was like, nah, I can actually, I think they do work.
I think they work. From the beginning of the film, they say, the water people say to them, to touch steel is to live a cursed life. So basically, people on Pandora think you don't fight with weapons, you don't fight with guns and ammo and stuff. You fight with, man-made stuff.
Yeah.
But she, on her bow, whatever you said, she puts like a metal, I don't know,
like a missile
thing. But she's still not touching. She's still not
Yeah,
touching
yeah.
the missile. So that's, it's interesting. Interesting that she's kind of taking on Jake's ways.
Can I say one other thing that kind of like annoyed me about the film? We talk about, people's ways and stuff like that. The ways of the bloody whales. Talking about we're not going to fight, we're against
I
violence.
couldn't believe that. I was thinking, allow it, man. These are going to ruin your whole world. You're talking about we don't want to fight.
Like,
you had to get my man to get his brother to talk to you, to tell you.
That I just couldn't get with, and it's just like something I just want removed from the story. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was a bit, that scene was a waste.
I
didn't
think
really
that
like
happens with culture and people people being so committed to peace and pacifism that they end up like basically,
But I feel like,
becoming victims themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like
But they fought in the end.
yeah, but I feel like,
And I didn't understand how what I didn't like, the whales were like crashing the ships and stuff, and fire was coming out, but it was not burning the whales or anything like that. The whales are fine. Like, I was looking at that, like, you're seeing stuff blow up, and the whales seem to be all right.
the worlds are massive though.
They are.
Yeah, massive, bro. So like a little piece of fire won't really touch them, I think.
It wasn't little pieces. We were seeing explosions, bro. See, and that was one. I was like, that looks a bit off. But all right, hey, like
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the defeat in the ships and whatnot. But that's one thing I can't lie. You're right. It does highlight that there's some people that they deal with oppression differently, or their response to oppression is different. But it just made me feel like, can't you see what's going on? And you're getting onto Python or Pycon, whatever his name is. Pycon, I said Python. Pycon, yeah, maybe. They were getting onto Pycon because he was defending his people.
He lost everyone. He was the last one surviving.
And they're calling him an outcast because he's...
It wasn't until they seen the damage on him. That's when
the damage on his brother. Was it his brother? Pycon's brother or sister?
Was it a woman?
It might be a woman.
Yeah, but I'm just like,
I don't know. You couldn't even see them.
But for me again, it's like, why does it take for him to have to show you the physical damage, or her the physical damage that has been done to them, for you to be like, okay, cool. Why can't you just take man's word for it?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like that's very like, I guess that's just native to their world, and it's something that we as humans don't understand, because we are, as humans in the world that we live in, it is fight, violence. That's our first response to everything. And in that world, it's, we do not do this, and if you do this, you're going against us as I want to say as a people, they're whales. As a whale species.
James Cameron, I don't want to see these whales in the fourth film.
He's saying enough to nothing.
Enough's enough. I'm a bit bored. So.
Yes, as long as they're not fighting in the water, we won't see them.
Okay.
That's what I think personally.
Perfect. Ash, do we got any numbers on this one?
We have indeed. I've had to update the numbers since last time, but the budget stays the same. It was 350 to 400 million. I think that tops every single film that we've covered.
Say that again. What's it?
350 to 400 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that tops everything that
That's
we've
the budget.
covered. Yeah, you can see it. The thing is, you can see it, but at the same time, I always do have to think to myself, they are literally filming in a factory in New Zealand. Sorry, I keep saying that, but it's true. Where is this money? The money's clearly going to the technology they use. But
because that's even what slowed down the production of some of the films. I don't know if it was the first one or bits of the second one where it took so long from 2009 to 2022 was technology. You know, so they needed a lot of investment, and some of the technology to do what they're doing was not even ready at the time. So
and as we've covered, this film has been in the works since 2017, so that's 7 years of work. So I can see it. So far, as of today, it's made 949 million.
Are you sure that's not yesterday?
It was actually as of 2nd of Jan, but thank you.
Yeah, I saw a little refresher today. It's gone over.
Okay,
crazy.
right. As of today, it's gone over $1 billion. However, comparing to Avatar: Fire and Ash's numbers to the previous films, it's actually a downward trend, and it's not on track to
beat it.
To beat Way of the Water and then Avatar 1. And there's obviously reasons for it. Global economy. We're competing with streaming platforms, which has been in the news a lot. But also, a lot of people are saying, like, because we've only had a 3-year gap since the last film, and I think we have covered this in this review, we're feeling a bit of oversaturation.
Yeah, we're full right now.
I think the first movie, it was this massive 3D experience. Second movie, we had like a 10-year gap. So it's like, oh my gosh, Avatar 2. This movie, I wasn't not excited for it, but I wasn't like, this is a brand new experience that I'm going to have.
Yeah, the second film was way different from the first.
Way different.
Yeah. So that's probably why people are just maybe not, every new film that comes out, you're going to have a drop-off of people that are actually interested in it.
That's true, and it depends on the people's first time reviews of this. So even in my own personal experience, obviously I've watched the film and people have asked me, what is it great, is it amazing? And because I haven't said it's great and it's amazing, I've heard I'll just wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. And that's literally, if I was like it's amazing, they're getting their ticket straight away. So it's like word of mouth actually does help these numbers. If people are saying it's a must watch, you've got to watch it, then I'm telling you, those numbers, despite what you're saying about global economy and streaming, those numbers do go up if people are saying you have to see it. But it didn't give that impression amongst the vast majority of people, hence why I feel like it's not following suit.
Yeah, I agree.
For what's people saying? Let's get a bad and a good.
Well, with the bad one, I feel like Ash might agree with this one, definitely. Maybe you as well, kind of me a little bit. They gave it a 4 out of 10. They said, nah, fam. How could they start like that? They said, nah, fam, just if you're a fan, wait till you can watch it at home for free. They said, I miss getting to know Pandora or even the characters. This is just a never-ending war with all kinds of new information that doesn't get explained because they just fight non-stop. I'm so overstimulated, I need some tea. When Avatar first came out, I would feel inspired to live in a world like that, but I came out of that theatre exhausted. I don't know what I was expecting, but not that. And they gave it 4 out of 10.
I agree to an extent, but what you said about people saying that they're gonna go home and watch it on streaming, I actually think you have to see this one.
You can't watch this at home
in cinema. You have to see the Avatar films in cinema. At least for the first time.
But I agree.
Just visually, man,
there's not many films that are like
and
this.
And the duration of it as well. Like, you're not going to discipline yourself. Like I said, this is a film that was 3 hours, 17 minutes, the longest in the franchise, 5 minutes longer than The Way of the Water. You can't watch that film at home and not just feel like, yeah, man, I'm bored, man.
Yeah,
you'll go do something else.
Yeah, like cinema, not saying the film is boring, but cinema, you're just locked in and you got to deal with it. It's 3 hours, 17 minutes. You don't even want to go to the toilet because when you come back, you're not sure what you've missed, and people kind of hate that. So you're going to take it in. But if you decide to watch it at home, it's a complete different experience. And if we're saying it wasn't that great at home, you're going to say it's even worse.
Yeah, and there's literally no other films like Avatar out right now. So take the opportunity to go watch it in.
Definitely. So with a good one, they gave it an 8 out of 10. They titled it, loved it. They said, I will say, watch the second movie, Way of the Water, before Fire and Ash. Sometimes you can watch a movie without watching others, but not for this one. If you don't, then you won't understand the importance and magnitude of Fire and Ash. My husband and I personally loved it. A bit slow at times, but still, we loved it so much. Not really the best kind of review I got there. She didn't really say much. She's just saying how she liked it, clearly. And it's basically what we said earlier in terms of like, they basically split it. So it's like you have to kind of watch Way of the Water to kind of understand Fire and Ash.
But if you haven't, like what I was saying before, if you haven't and this is your first time coming to Pandora in this film and you were trying to connect dots from films that you haven't seen, I think you walk away saying that that's a great film.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Or make you probably want to watch the other ones.
Yeah, you'll go back. You 100%
what happened in the second one? Or what happened in the first one? Yeah. No, facts.
So Ash, what are you giving your ratings?
We've kind of, I guess because we filmed the podcast already, we've kind of like maybe doubly kind of, I guess, I don't want to say we've been too negative, but been negative about it. So I am going to go with a 7.5, which I think is low. I think I'm losing it with these films based on what I said about James Cameron and maybe his casting choices and the way that he tells his story, not fully understanding like colonialism, and not fully understanding the people that he's telling these stories about. But I still think they're amazing, amazing films and cinema experiences, and I think everyone should go watch them. But I think they don't have as much depth and they're quite hollow. So yeah.
Fizz?
I actually enjoyed that film a lot. Even though there were, I do agree with what Ash said in terms of similarities with The Way of the Water. I still very much enjoyed that film. Visually, it was good for me to look at. Like I said at the beginning, the way I described it, emotionally intense for me. Because of the, I was feeling, how Jake Sully was feeling when he had to make certain decisions when it came to whether it came to Loak, Spider, or Netiri, or just, the world of Pandora. Like, I really enjoyed it. So for me, I remember when I left the film and I was asked what I felt about it, I gave it like an 8 out of 10, and I think that's what I'm gonna stick with, 8 out of 10.
Fair enough. I think for me,
This is gonna be fun.
6.9.
Oh, sorry. That was a gut reaction.
Just say 6, man. 6.9.
No,
Just say
because I think
6.
6. No, 6 is too harsh. It's close to being good, but I just think I'm like that comment. I'm overstimulated. I just literally wanted the film to just wrap up maybe after the 2-hour mark, because I just knew that once I knew what the film was, I just knew I wasn't going to get anything that would like make me think, wow, this is amazing. I think there's only one point that could have happened, and that's if Spider actually died and they killed him. That didn't happen, so there was just too much predictability. Yeah, I feel I was just too familiar with Pandora right now and what I'm seeing. It just didn't seem like the story was strong enough. I hope that James Cameron does kind of take on this feedback, because it's not just me and you guys that are saying this. There's a lot of people that are saying it, and I hope he's not going to be one of those directors that like just ignore all of that and just say it's great. Look at the numbers, it's great. I'm just going to do it again for number 4. I hope they really do listen to some of the criticism that has been given towards this film and not take it to say, oh, it's a bad film. Visually, like we said, it's amazing. It's like 10 out of 10, one of the best films since I watched that last one. Definitely. But I just wanted a bit more because we've just expected him to go leaps and bounds every film we see from him in this franchise. So it's a 6.9.
It would have been so nice if they took this. It would have been so nice if they like saw the Na'vi people go to Earth. That would have been nice as well.
We might.
They confirmed it for number 4, innit? They confirmed it for number 4. They want to go to Earth. And 5. Is it 4?
No, I thought it was just 5.
I thought it was 4.
Okay, I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
One of them. 4 or 5 will go into Earth. Maybe they can bring me back. Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. If they can go to Earth and boy, just do it properly, man. Don't do it like how you did the 5 people, man. Do it properly.
So I completely disagree. I do not want to be on Earth. I don't even want to be on Earth right now.
Because you know what? I only say that because I I want to see them lose now. They've won back to back. Like I need to see them lead in a I need to see them in an environment where
I just need to see
they're
something
not
different.
comfortable. Yeah.
Pandora is different enough. Farinash wasn't, but Pandora as a whole planet is different enough. I don't want to go back to Earth and see them. I don't want to go back to Earth.
But they're probably gonna have
But
to because
I do want to see the state that Earth is in. That's
that's why I want to go back.
Yes.
That's why I want to go back. I just want to see something different. A different plot, just something else.
We're in a different planet. Why would we go back to Earth? Anyway.
So that gives us on the all-time rankings 12th place. So we've done 25 films and it's gone to 12th place. It didn't do well as The Way of the Water. The Way of the Water still sits in 4th. So you could, from 4th to 12th, there's a big gap.
Yeah, I was going to say what? Should we have a ranking for like 2016?
Yeah, so what I was going to say is we're going to conclude on our season 2. This is our last episode for season 2. Okay. And on season 2, this falls in 6th place.
Okay.
For season 2.
What was Way of the Water then?
Way of the Water was season 1, so it didn't go.
Season 1. Okay.
Yeah. But on the all-time, it's 4th place, and this is 12th on the all-time. What we're going to do for next season is have a 2026 list instead, rather than season 1, season 2. We're just going to have 2026 films. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. This is us recording for the second time.
Oh, you actually completed it.
I hope that this one gets uploaded and you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, let's not speak too soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching. See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.